This video is sponsored by ProArt. All right, I've made a lot of videos in this building since we got it, but every time I've actually needed to film, I've had to set up an entirely new talking head setup. Desk, props, lighting, like it takes kind of a while to do that every single time. And I've been looking at some of the setups that my buddies have, like Tom Noski, Andres Vidoza, Peter McKinnon. They all just have these really great, ready to go setups where anytime they want to film a YouTube video or do a live stream or whatever that might be, they just sit down and hit record and they're ready to go. In my office previously, it's needed some work. Like I used to hate taking Zoom calls in here because it was just a blank white wall behind me. Honestly, I was kind of becoming a little bit of a slob too because I just had an extra desk to get myself an L-shaped desk, which I wanted, but I found myself just leaving most of my crap on there, like products that brands would send us or gear or hard drives or whatever it might be. And my monitor situation was just weird. I did have a nice big monitor, but then I had that side display that was an ultra wide standing vertically, which the concept is cool, but that thing is way too big. So I knew I needed to fix that. And my business partner, Connor, that you might have heard of on this channel, him and I have shared an office, and my setup compared to his is actually kind of ridiculous because my setup was just so big and chunky with so many things, and he just had this tiny little white desk, single little monitor on his laptop, and that was about it. So when the time came to actually remodel this space, I had to check off 5 different things. First, I needed to help Connor have a better setup and make it not feel like I was completely taking over the office. And then second, I needed to maintain a place that I could actually focus on work. Turn off all distractions, just plug in and get stuff done. Third, I needed a spot that was good for color grading. And this mainly has to do with the monitor situation. 4, like I said already, it needed to be good for filming. Plug and play, sit down, hit record, we're ready to go. And then the last thing, I really just needed a spot for my own gear. Because in the studio, we have our gear cage, which is awesome. Love the gear cage. But when you share gear with a dozen other people, and I'm not pointing any fingers, but things don't tend to go back in their spots. And I've just found myself like looking for my own personal gear because I need to use it for a shoot and I literally can't because I have no idea where it went. So I wanted to create a spot where I could actually keep my own personal stuff and not have to worry about it going missing. So with a free Saturday, a few $100, and our friends over at ProArt, we got to work.
Let's go. Yeah, okay. I'm 4-0 when I touch down. Got a whole series on lockdown. If they looking for me, tell them pipe down. I'ma always play the background. God working all things right now. 23 made the right sound. Got the dogs barking with me all around. Like, look, we up to the test. You want hang with the best.
So you guys know Bryson. I'm sure you've seen him on the channel a few times, but we showed up early Saturday. Well, not that early. It was like 9 a.m. Saturday morning. The first like 30 minutes, hour was honestly just clearing stuff out. Because like I said, there's so much crap on my desk. We basically needed to more or less gut the room before we could actually come back in. I figured the first thing that should actually go up here would be the decals and the pictures on the wall. Now behind my desk here, what actually used to be on that wall was a huge 70-inch TV, which in hindsight is kind of stupid. Like to have a TV, huge TV above your monitor right there, it's really not that useful. So for a little while, I had that behind my desk and eventually I took it down, but it left some really gnarly holes in the wall. So naturally, I covered them up with some pictures. The pictures weren't centered because that's not where the holes were in the wall. And then when it was time to actually like change this whole space up, I had to actually just man up and fix them. So with a little sandpaper, some spackle, a scraper, and a little TLC, we got it done. And we didn't do a great job, but it was enough. Now, a couple years ago, I actually had a business called Wrapped. We made MacBook skins. In the early days, we actually made camera skins, but those are much more complicated to create than I realized. And even though I shut that business down, I actually still have some of the equipment from it, including a vinyl printer and cutter, which means anytime I want decals, it's actually really easy to throw them together. And I knew I wanted something on this wall behind me, but I really didn't want to like paint the wall. I also didn't want to do like a wood slat wall. Like I like that it's just a white wall because it makes the room a little bit brighter. So I figured let's just cut out some of our logos and throw them up there. Like it's perfect for a meeting, perfect for a talking head like this, because it kind of helps just brand the video a bit better. These things are big though, like they're not easy to apply. So it took a good amount of time actually just lining them up, making sure they were level. And one by one, they slowly started to go up. And at this point, it was looking cool, but obviously we needed something in the center. And I already had a plan. It was to do black and white photos right there. So the photos I chose actually have a bit of meaning to me. I didn't want to just choose 3 random photos. And I kind of wanted it to be a little bit of the story of my journey as a creative and just be some really simple prints that when I look at them, makes me realize how far we've come, the things we've accomplished. So the one I put up top is actually me on a very early shoot in my career, shooting on like a fly cam, a Nikon. I think I was maybe 20, 21. And I just know in that moment, the moment that photo was captured, I was just thinking through, okay, what do I want to do with my life? Do I want to continue on this journey as a creative? Should I dive into something else? I was still in college, so I could go any direction really. And then the one in the middle is Connor and I in this space, like a couple weeks after we got it. And it was right after the painters had come and actually turned that warehouse from that cream color to all white. And to me, what that signifies is a blank slate, basically. Because I knew if we could just make all the walls in here white, we could turn this into whatever we wanted it to be. And then that bottom photo it's just me like running past the camera with a camera in my hand in front of one of my cars. And I'm a big car guy. And so like, I'm just a sucker for a good car photo. I feel like that photo in a way kind of captured one of the final pieces of that sequence. Going from, is being a creative worth it? Am I doing the right thing? To taking a huge chance, blank slate, let's create something, to a tangible achievement that I've been able to make in my life. But that's really the whole goal of this office. And I talk about this all the time. If you are a creative entrepreneur, you need a space where you can be regularly inspired. And I wasn't about to make just another cookie cutter office. I know it probably doesn't look astronomically different than any other desk setup you've ever seen. But to me, just that personal touch makes it a little bit more real for me. So after we got that wall totally done, I rolled in the tool chest that we got from Harbor Freight. It's like $280, I think. Got some shelves. Those were maybe $100. And I just reused the pegboards. Frankly, a lot of the stuff in every setup that I've ever had over the last decade are things that I just reuse and I reposition. And this is no exception. Then we got our lighting set up, and I wanted to keep this honestly really simple because with a talking head, you can get away with a 1 or 2 point light setup. Your key light, obviously it's this one right here, and then a hair light, something to just kind of separate you from that background. I decided to throw some practicals, or some fake practicals, I guess, a couple tube lights. So rigging all that up in a way that would actually allow me to just turn them all on and hit record and make a video was really important because I don't want to mess with my lights once they're in place. So now that we had the foundation for the office put together, it was time to get the desks fully set up. So I'm going to break down as much as I can on this desk because I know that's what a lot of you guys are here for. Obviously, it's fun to see other people's spaces, some of my favorite videos to watch on YouTube, but I do want to get a little bit more specific because when I see a creator using a specific product and I'm personally not using it, I'm intrigued. I'm like, oh, am I missing out on that? So let me break this down for you, okay? First, let's talk about the monitor because obviously ProArt is the sponsor for this video and actually a big reason that we're doing this in the first place.
Let's go. Full time of a job, man, I had to put in work. 100 times I decide that I had to know my worth. It's my time, I ain't tired, now I gotta get a little dirty, now I gotta get a little dirty late nights.
I've just put off renovating this setup so many times, and then once the team over at ProArt reached out, I was like, you know what? It's time. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. So we got 2 of their 34-inch curved displays. What I really love about ProArt specifically is the color accuracy. Now this one that I'm using specifically is the PA34 VCNV. Don't look at me, I did not name this. It's awesome though. That's what it should be called. It's fucking awesome. I'm actually kind of a sucker for curved displays because when you're sitting centered at your desk and you turn your head, technically the left and the right side of your screen are on different planes than the center. But a curved display fixes that. So every direction you look is the same. And I know that sounds kind of high maintenance, I get it. But if you can have it, why not? Another cool thing about curved displays specifically is that they're not your typical 16:9 aspect ratio like this video is right now. This monitor specifically is a 21:9, which means a couple of things. It means that I can have more windows open at once, and shooting something cinematically means that I can actually fill that entire frame. This monitor here is also 3440 by 1440. It's actually noticeably sharper than my last monitor. And what's really cool actually about every ProArt display is that they're all pre-calibrated in the factory and Kalman verified. So the color accuracy is absolutely insane, which is great because I'm always going to second guess if I've calibrated my monitor correctly. But out of the box, it's ready to go. And they even give you a certificate to show you how it performed in the test. And if you've shopped for monitors, you've probably seen, some monitors are 97% sRGB, 98%, whatever. This is literally 100% sRGB and Rec 709 coverage. So it's perfectly accurate. Something kind of recent actually is that I switched over from my 2019 iMac i9 that I've literally ran for like 5 years straight to one of the new MacBook Pro M3s. And I did that because we're traveling quite a bit and it's really hard to have your main computer and your traveling laptop be totally separate. Like, yeah, you could use Dropbox or some other service to like sync your files, but it's just not nearly as convenient. So I basically wanted to make my laptop also my desktop. And with this display, you get a ton of different connectivity options, one of them being USB-C that also provides power to the laptop. So the ability to just plug in a single USB-C cable, not even a power cable, it is pretty convenient. Now I do have a bunch of other peripherals and you do have USB connectivity and a few options with this monitor, but I got some heavy duty stuff plugged into the system. So I do have a CalDigit Thunderbolt 4 dock. And with that, I can actually plug in everything. My Rodecaster, this camera, this microphone, my Stream Deck Mini, my speakers, my hard drives, my SSDs, and the monitor. And if I add another ProArt display, I can actually daisy chain the two together. So one cable that connects to my computer or my dock, but it powers two separate displays. You can also do picture by picture. So one source, say my laptop on one side of the screen, and then on the other side, it could be a completely different computer. It could be a camera feed and picture in picture as well. And then when I'm filming like this, I've actually rotated the display to face the camera just a little bit more. So with this stand, I actually get height adjustment, tilt, and swivel. So that's the display. Hopefully I didn't bore you with those details. Personally, I'm not one to look at every little technical specification on a monitor, but I can confirm that if you're a video creator, it's a great option. Now, what is the monitor sitting on? It's actually a riser from a company called Bololo. What's cool about this is that you can attach different accessories to the riser. So right now, currently, I just have a tray that goes under. That's where I have my dock. I got a couple other little trays that just hold random stuff, and then a headphone holder on the side. I have another one of these at home that holds a few more things, but it's nice because every time I switch up my setup, I can keep this and just add more accessories to it if I want. Then we have my Grove-made desk mat. I've had this probably since 2018. I think I've had this since before I started working at Full-Time Filmmaker. So this thing has been with me forever and it's held up perfectly. The desk actually is from Ergonoffice. They have an updated version of this, which is really nice. I've done a few videos on the desk specifically, so I guess if you want to learn more about that, you can check those out. I do love that it has a drawer built in. Again, I'm not super organized, so I just put random stuff in there. And then also a power supply here on the side. So I need to charge something really quick, I can just plug it in right there. The chair that I'm using is also sold by Ergonoffice, but I think it's from a company called All Seating. Really comfortable chair. There's just so many chair companies right now, and they all seem to do the craziest designs. And every time I try one of those designs, it's not that it's not comfortable or whatever, but just like long term, I keep coming back to this chair for some reason. It's comfortable, it's easy to move around. I don't know, I'm a simple guy. After that, we have a couple of speakers from a company called PreSonus. Frankly, I bought these speakers for this new setup and I've been trying them for just a couple of days. I can't say I recommend them. I'm probably gonna return them actually. So if you have any recommendations for speakers, let me know. The reason I don't like these is I can't seem to get rid of the high-pitched squeal. It's not like super loud, but it is noticeable. And yes, I moved the audio cables away from the power cables and tried a bunch of different things, and it's just still very faintly there. So we're gonna swap them out. The backup hard drives that I'm using right now are actually from Glyph. Don't ask me about the speed or anything really on these hard drives. I think they're pretty standard, but I love the design. I love the modularity of them, how you can stack them very easily. So for backing stuff up, it's perfect. And if you need to edit off of them, you totally can, but typically I'm editing either directly off the computer or off of an SSD, like a Samsung T7. Kind of moving down the line here, we have the AirPods Max, which I took a long time to adopt, but finally picks them up. They are awesome. I actually really enjoy editing with these on. There is a touch of latency, but nothing compared to other Bluetooth headphones. Picked up a Stream Deck Mini. I'm gonna be honest, I have not set this thing up yet, but with our new Happy Creative coaching that we're doing right now, every week we're going to be doing group coaching calls, and I just knew I needed a setup that could handle that. And I got to configure this a little bit more, but I feel like the Stream Deck Mini is going to be great for just switching between scenes during a live stream. Keyboard and mouse, we have the Logitech MX Keys Mini and then the MX Master 3. It's the best mouse. Like, if you're not using this mouse, you're missing out. Don't ask me how Parker used a Magic Mouse for all those years. I just can't stand that thing. Now, all the audio is run through Rode, actually. We have the pod mic right here, the Rode arm, actually, I don't know what we call it, and then the Rodecaster Duo. This is like a special edition white set, but it's perfect for live streaming. It's perfect for videos like this. This all plugs in via XLR to the Rodecaster, and then the Rodecaster connects via USB-C to my computer. So I'm actually running audio right now in Adobe Audition, so I can see the waveforms of my audio. And I think if I wanted to, I could even do some effects here. Should we try?
How's that sound? Let's see. Let's see if that changes to... Does it sound good? Do I sound okay?
Maybe that's... I think we're back to normal. So anyways, after the audio stuff... Wait, no, it's still on? Hold on.
We good? We back? Okay, sorry. After all the audio stuff, I have my camera set up. Now, right now, this is actually being filmed on the Sony ZV-E1, again, in white. I think more companies need to make their products in white because they just look really good. 15-35 G Master lens. Got the Peter McKinnon Maglock ND. And then I found this really cool, actually, camera arm on Amazon. I'll link all this stuff below, by the way, but that was another big thing, is having the camera set up in a way that I didn't have to like throw together a tripod and reposition anything, really. So with this, I have kind of my go-to angle, which you're watching right now, but technically, let me show you, I can actually move it around and articulate this wherever I want it to be. So I know this is kind of a long-winded video because there's just so much to break down. But now that you've seen all the products, you've seen the process of all this coming together, and you've seen this main talking head, put that all together. Wow, I can't even. Put that all together, you put that all together, and here's how the space turns out. It's not some crazy fancy setup. It's a little extra in some areas, I'm not gonna lie. But something I always say is a proper desk setup is literally a productivity hack. If you sit down to work every day and you're not inspired to create, or you're not able to just focus on the things that need to get done, one of the first things you might want to be looking at is your workspace. And I've had a lot of different setups over the years, and I've learned something every time I've made a new setup. So there's always going to be quirks, but if you're feeling a little bit burnt out or stagnant or stuck, try switching it up. Now, once again, ProArt, thank you for sponsoring this video. There's links in the description if you guys want to check that out. The LUT that I use on this video right now, you can actually download for free in the description, or there's a box up here somewhere you can click on. And if you want to get my weekly newsletter where I actually send out advice, inspiration, and tips for creative entrepreneurs, I threw that down below as well. There's 200,000 of you guys reading that email every week, which is actually insane to even think about. So if you're on this journey of creative entrepreneurship, go check it out. It's totally free. And as always, if you guys have any further questions, please let me know.